The best part is you don't need to explain it to anyone. You don't need to convince people why you don't accept bare minimum effort anymore. The ones who get it will match your energy without being asked. The ones who don't will call you distant, cold, or difficult. Let them. You're not here to fit back into the version of yourself that made others comfortable at your own expense. You don't need to cut people off to raise your standards. Sometimes you just raise your energy and the rest handles itself. You stop texting first. You stop being available 24/7. You stop chasing conversations that always leave you feeling unseen. You stop pretending that being busy is an excuse for being inconsistent. And little by little, your circle shifts, your atmosphere changes, and the quality of everything you allow into your space starts to rise. This kind of shift doesn't make noise. It just makes sense. You start choosing peace over pressure, real over convenient, respect over attention, depth over surface. You stop needing proof of loyalty because loyalty shows itself without being asked. Not everything needs a final conversation, and everything needs to be wrapped up with a neat little explanation. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stop looking for closure. Because real talk, if they cared, you wouldn't be searching for it in the first place. It's hard, though. The mind wants to make sense of things. It wants reasons, it wants answers, it wants to understand why someone changed, why they left, why they treated you the way they did. It wants a clear story to close the chapter. But the truth is, most of the time, there is no satisfying explanation. People ghost, people lie, people choose themselves, and people act in ways that have nothing to do with you. But you still sit there trying to find logic in their mess. You replay conversations, you analyze texts, you wonder if you did something wrong. Here's what you need to hear. The closure you're looking for is not out there. It's not in their words. It's not in some future apology that may never come. It's in your decision to move forward anyway, to accept that you may never fully understand what happened and still choose peace over clarity. They knew what they were doing. Maybe they weren't ready. Maybe they never intended to stay. Maybe they used you to fill a void. Whatever the reason, if they couldn't give you the love, respect, or honesty you deserve, that's the closure. And chasing an explanation won't change that. It won't heal you. It'll just keep you stuck in a loop of hoping and waiting and wondering. You don't need to reopen a wound just to prove that it hurt. You felt it. You lived it. And that's valid, but some things are meant to end quietly, not dramatically. Sometimes the silence is the answer. And sometimes your healing begins the moment you stop needing one more conversation. That's just going to break you again. It's not weakness to walk away without a full breakdown of the why. It's strength. It's choosing yourself over the chaos of needing to be understood by someone who clearly didn't value you in the first place. It's realizing that closure isn't a door they close for you. It's a door you walk through on your own. You won't always get the apology you deserve. You won't always get the truth, but you will get your time back, your energy back, your self-respect back. And those are better than any explanation that's probably just going to be half true anyway. Let people wonder. Let them carry their own silence. You don't need to go back and dig through the past looking for a reason to leave it behind. You're allowed to close the chapter without reading every page. You're allowed to outgrow what once made sense. And you're allowed to heal on your terms without waiting for someone else to give you permission. Time is one of those things you never really feel slipping until it's gone. You don't feel the minutes drain when you're stuck in a pointless conversation. You don't notice the hours you lose replying to messages that mean nothing. You don't track the energy it takes to be nice to people who wouldn't even show up for you if roles were reversed. But at some point it hits you. You start realizing how much of your time has gone to things, people, and situations that never gave anything back. And that's when everything changes. That's when you start treating your time like it actually matters. Because it does. Time is the one thing you can't earn back. You can make more money, meet new people, rebuild your confidence, but you can never rewind a moment that's already passed. That's why you have to start protecting your time like it's a limited resource, not an unlimited supply. You don't need to be available for every conversation, every event, every random call. Not every hey deserves your attention. Not every we should catch up is coming from a genuine place. You get to choose what you give your time to, and that's not selfish, that's smart. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking you owe people your time just because they ask for it, but you don't. You owe people honesty, kindness, and respect, but not constant access. You don't have to explain yourself for needing space. You don't have to justify why you're not picking up every call or replying within minutes. The people who truly respect you won't question your boundaries. They'll recognize your value and honor it. You start seeing things clearly when you pause and ask yourself, does this add to me or does this take from me? That's a question most people don't stop to ask. They just keep showing up half present, half drained, doing things out of guilt or habit. And slowly, that kind of living starts to wear on your soul. It disconnects you from your own rhythm. You stop creating, thinking, dreaming. You're too busy being available for things that don't matter. When you begin to value your time, your life naturally becomes more intentional. You stop saying yes out of pressure and start saying yes with purpose. You stop spreading yourself thin just to keep everyone else comfortable. You stop showing up out of obligation and start showing up out of alignment. People might not get it at first. They'll say you've changed. They'll say you're distant, but that's fine. Let them think what they want. The truth is, when you start protecting your time, you stop living by everyone else's expectations. You reclaim your energy. You reclaim your focus. And you start filling your life with things that actually feed you, not just distract you. There's something powerful about moving in silence, about shifting your habits, changing your pace, and letting your energy do the talking. You don't need to make a big announcement when you're evolving. You don't have to tell people what you're planning, what you're building, or where you're headed. Just move different, speak less, watch more. That's where the real shift happens, not in noise, but in movement. Most people live loud but small. They talk a lot, but grow very little. They're so busy explaining themselves, proving themselves, showing off every step they take, that they don't even notice how much energy they're wasting trying to be seen. But when you start valuing your peace over performance, something changes. You don't feel the need to prove anymore. You stop explaining your every decision. You start acting like someone who knows where they're going, even if no one else sees it yet. And when you make that shift, your energy changes. People start picking up on something different, even if you haven't said a word. You become harder to read, harder to predict, and that's not a bad thing. That's you protecting your growth. Not everything you're working on needs to be shared in real time. Some things need space to breathe, to form, to mature. And the more you keep it sacred, the stronger it grows. Speaking less doesn't mean you're holding back who you are. It means you're being more intentional with how you show up. You observe more. You learn more. You begin to notice things other people miss because they're too busy reacting. You start catching patterns, watching behaviors, feeling the room instead of trying to fill it. That awareness is what builds presence, that calm, confident energy that doesn't need to shout to be felt. It's not about being mysterious for the sake of it. It's about protecting your energy, your progress, your mindset. You don't need to tell people what you're healing from. You don't need to explain why you stopped calling or showing up in places that don't feed your spirit. You just move different, and eventually people get the message. Without a single word, your actions start to speak a language they can't ignore. When you're focused on real growth, not performance, your priorities change. You stop chasing attention and start choosing alignment. You stop needing constant feedback and start trusting your inner compass. And you start doing things not for claps, likes, or recognition, but because it feels right, because it's part of your becoming. Watching more means you're not in a rush to respond. You're not triggered by everything. You're not jumping into every debate, every drama, every invitation. You pick your moments. You move with purpose. You know that not everything needs your reaction because not everything deserves your energy. When you move like that, quiet, intentional focus, it's not that people forget about you. It's the opposite. They start paying even closer attention. Because there's something unshakable about a person who doesn't need to say much to be noticed. You don't need to announce your glow up. You just need to act like someone who values themselves. Do that once, and I promise they'll never treat you the same again.